You've probably heard this phrase over and over again: practice makes perfect. But when it comes to FND recovery, that is not just a saying, it is actually neuroscience, and for real. Because the truth is this: repetition is what rewires the brain. It is not about one big breakthrough that changes everything. It's hundreds, if not thousands, of small, calm, consistent repetitions that teach your brain and body how to work together again. So in this video, I'm going to explain how repetition actually rewires the brain in FND recovery, why families often give up too soon, and what it really means to practice recovery the right way. And if this kind of video and clarity helps your family feel more confident about the recovery process, then please like this video and subscribe and share it with others, because I post new videos every week to help families rebuild function and calm through real brain-based retraining. So let's go. Hi, my name is Dr. Lee. I'm a pediatric health psychologist and a founder of Teen FND Academy, which is an online coaching program to help teens with FND and their parents, just like you guys, to get their lives back. I do this work not only because I love it, but I believe recovery from FND is 100% possible. I've seen it one too many times, and I want that for you. So let's talk about today's video. Here's the science of repetition. All right, let's start here. Your brain changes based on what you repeat, not what you understand. So let's make it clear here. Especially with FND, or functional neurological disorder, is a real brain-based diagnosis caused by this two-way miscommunication problem between the brain and the body. And I get comments from time to time saying, well, FND is not real. It's just an excuse. And you have to talk about something else. I mean, you can believe in whatever you want, right? That's your choice and that's your right. What I'm saying here is FND is all very real, and it's not an excuse for anything. The brain sends this mixed message to the body, and the body sends this confusing message back to the brain. And your teen or these teens are not making things up. And that miscommunication becomes a habit loop. And that's the unfortunate part. And just like any other habit, the only way to change it is through repetition of a new habit. So every time you practice a new movement, like regulate through an episode or calm your body while staying active, you're basically creating a new wiring and training. That is called neuroplasticity. It's your brain's ability to recognize itself based on what you do consistently. Not like all day, every day, but consistently. And it's the same process that helps you learn how to play a new instrument, drive a car, or memorize a song, right? The brain wires what you repeat. So you don't have to do this all day, every day. But when you do this consistently, you're learning how to do it. Maybe you're not even thinking about it, right? Autopilot. If you want to get started with some of the same tools I teach inside my program, then make sure to download the free family guide that is just made for you. It's in the description below. I want to talk about why one good day is not enough, because it happens a lot. A lot of families start very strong, like they learn the skills and have one good day and then think, oh my gosh, we did it, right? Then the next day, symptoms show up again, and it feels like everything is falling apart. And it's so devastating, discouraging, and then super frustrating. Let me tell you, that is not failure, even though you might think that way. That is just the brain saying, I haven't learned it yet. I haven't mastered this yet. That's it. Repetition is how the brain decides what is important. It doesn't change after one success. It changes after repeated proof, like over and over and over again. So if your teen's progress feels up and down during the recovery, that's normal, as long as your teen is practicing the skills and strategies towards recovery. So your teen, or you're not going backwards, you're teaching your brain a new language, one word at a time. So it takes time, right? And here is how repetition builds new pathways. Think of it this way. Imagine you're walking through a tall grass, for example, right? The first time it's rough because there's no path, and then you're like so pushing through resistance. It's really hard and a lot of work. But the more times you walk through that, the clearer the path gets. And eventually this new path that you created becomes the easiest way forward because it's already made, right? Through your hard work. And that's how neural pathway, or the brain pathways, are literally created. Every time your teen uses a recovery skill, whether it's a standing calmly, moves with control, regulating frustrating, during stress, or anything like that, they are walking this new path again. And the more they do it, the faster, the smoother, and more automatic it becomes. Trust me, just like tall grass. And that's when you start to see the real change. Not because symptoms magically stop, but on the surface, it may not seem that way, but because the brain has learned a faster, safer route on the inside. So parents, if you're watching this, why you're consistently matters, okay? Because parents, this part is for you. Your nervous system literally teaches just as much your teen's repetition does. They're equally important. That's why parents are part of the requirement to be in my program, Teen FND Academy. Because here's the deal. If you stay calm, consistent, and predictable, your child's brain gets constant evidence of safety. But if every setback turns into panic, or better yet, doubt, like, oh, I'm not sure, the brain gets mixed messages again. So you're guaranteed to be stuck there. Your own repetition matters too. Your calm is practice. Your patience is practice. Every time you model steadiness, you're reinforcing the new wiring. And this is for you, teens. This is what real practice looks like. So if you're a teen with FND, I know you want results fast, just like anybody else that I work with. But your brain does not learn through intensity. It actually learns through consistency. So instead of trying to do everything perfectly once, focus on doing small things consistently. For example, standing for 15 seconds calmly, walking a few steps with slow breathing. Use your skills in the middle of life, not just when you are comfortable, right? So on a good day, bad day, tough day, rough day, whatever it is, you just consistently use that. And that is how the brain learns safety, not through perfect moments, but through practice ones. So now let's talk about the biggest mistake families make, because I see this all the time. The biggest mistake I see is for families to stop too soon. Here's the deal. People might think, we tried that and it didn't work. What they're actually saying and what they really mean is we didn't do it long enough for the brain to rewire. So it is not what you're actually learning. It is about giving enough time, because neural change, the brain change, happens with repetition and it takes time. So if you stop after a few tries, the old pathway stays longer. And this is so true, especially if your teen has been struggling with FND symptoms for a long time and you have been responding in a certain way for a long time, because the brain needs to be pretty much convinced that the new way is the right way. That's why if you stop after a few tries, the old pathways stay stronger. But if you keep going, new pathways eventually take over. I promise you. And that is not motivation. That is 100% pure neuroscience. So I'm not making things up. If you want to see how my full program of Teen FND Academy works and how it's helping families resolve FND for real, then watch the video linked in the description box below. So here's the takeaway. Repetition is not boring, okay? It is actually brain training. And every skill, every practice, and every small calm movement is your brain's way of saying, oh, this is the new normal. Look, you're already convincing yourself with some sort of story every single time and every single day anyway, so might as well do the right thing, right? And recovery does not come from knowing what to do once. Here's the deal. It comes from doing it again and again and again until the new wiring takes hold and that becomes a new normal. Remember, you're not broken. Your teen is not broken. Your brain is rewiring and you can do this together. Thank you so much for watching this video and I will see you in the next video.